So I jokingly asked a question on my Instagram in a poll, how many people have dove deeper than 12 feet underwater? And I was surprised that 60% of people said they have never done that. But I think it's honest. And I think most people, when they're looking for a diver watch, aren't getting it for actual professional use, but more for the actual specs and functionality behind the piece to use it in the everyday. That on top of a comment that I got from Michael, he's a member of our Facebook group, requesting that I do a video about everyday diver watches. And I thought it was a good idea. So guys, let's jump in or dive in to this video. So a few guidelines for the criteria for the watches I'll be looking at. One, they all have to have at least 200 meters of water resistance. They have to have a rotating bezel, so choices like the Explorer, Aquaterra, Noma, Sahoi Neomatic won't be eligible, although they're great everyday watches. The watches can't be too chunky on the wrist. They either have to have a little bit slimmer of profile or have a curved design to the case that'll allow it to wear a little bit smaller. And then we're gonna have more subdued colors here. So like your simple blacks, blues, whites, and things of that nature. There's no reds, greens, and things that call attention to the dial. And just to address this up front, I'm not gonna be including the Rolex Submariner, Omega Seamaster, Orient divers, just because I feel like I mention them so frequently on the channel. I wanna switch things up a little bit, but they're all great options, of course. All right, now first up on our list here, we have the Tissot Seastar Powermatic 80. So this watch comes in with a price range of $450 to $750, case size of 43 millimeters, so a little bit larger on our spectrum today. Thickness though is a little bit slimmer, 12.7 millimeters, not too bad for a dive watch. Movement is a caliber 80 movement, so that's an 80-hour power reserve with this thing. Water resistance of 300 meters, and sports a sapphire crystal. So these watches are available on a rubber and metal bracelet. Of course, for our purpose today, we definitely want to be going for the metal bracelet. Feature a ceramic bezel and also come with many different dial options with a blue with a black bezel, a silver option, and then also a all black option. Now next up we have, probably from an aesthetic standpoint, maybe my favorite diver under $1,000 from my personal opinion, and that is the Meto Ocean Star. So back in 1959, the Meto Ocean Star line was introduced. It marked the introduction of the single shell case, eliminating any water resistant problems from the back of the watch case. And of course, the Ocean Star line has certainly progressed. However, this same technology is still being used in Meto's Commander line. So the Meto Ocean Star comes in with a price range of $550 to around $1,000, case size of 42.5 millimeters, case thickness is 11.75 millimeters, so pretty solid there from the thickness standpoint. Movement is a Meto caliber 80, that's an ETA-based movement. Water resistance of 200 meters, and has a sapphire crystal. This line is filled with quite a few different options, including a myriad of different dial colors. I wouldn't go for the green option, we're talking about everyday divers, but hey, do you, man. A chronometer version and a titanium case version. So I have to be honest, most Seiko divers probably don't fit the mold for our video here today. But I think there is one exception. I had to throw a Seiko diver in here just because I know people would just be going crazy in the comments down below if I did not. And that is the Seiko Prospex SPB07. This watch comes in with a price range of $800 to $1,050. Case size of 44 millimeters, a little bit on the larger side of things here. Thickness, 13.8 millimeters, powered by an automatic Seiko 6R15 movement. Water resistance of 200 meters, and has a sapphire crystal. So in Baselworld 2018, Seiko introduced several new designs, two being the Seiko SPB07 and the SPB079. The watches pay homage to the iconic 6159 line from Seiko. The Seiko SPB077 coming in all black, and then the SPB079 coming in with a blue bezel. And I mentioned these watches in my video where I look at amazing Japanese watches under $1,000. If you haven't seen that video, that's probably one of my favorite lists I've done on the channel. I will link to it in the description down below if you want to check it out. All right, now this one's kind of an oddball pick because super compressor divers, probably not the first ones that come to mind when you think of everyday watches. But I did want to make one little fun exception with the Alpena Sea Strong Heritage. So this watch comes in with a price range of $1,000 to $1,700. Case size of 42 millimeters. Has a thickness of 12 millimeters. Movement is an automatic AL525. That is a Sellita-based movement. Water resistance here of 300 meters and has a sapphire crystal. And you have a few different color options here. You can go for an all black version or a white and black version where the innermost part of the dial is white. But really cool option. I always hear about Alpena. I should mention them more, so I wanted to do that today. Now, when thinking of Oris watches, one of my favorites is the Oris Diver 65. However, that watch unfortunately only has 100 meters of water resistance, and I've done a whole review on that watch before on the channel. If you want to check it out, I can link to it down in the description below. But instead today, I wanted to look at the Oris Aquis. So the Oris Aquis is more of the spec beefed up version of the Oris Diver 65 and still has some pretty awesome looks to go along with it. From a price range standpoint, we're looking at $1,300 to $2,000. Case size, they have a couple options here. You have a 39.5 millimeter option and then a 43.5 millimeter option. Case thickness, 12.6 millimeters, powered by an automatic Sellita 2001 movement, water resistance of 300 meters, and has a sapphire crystal. Oris Aquis, a lot to like, a lot of different colors. You have some different size for cases that you can choose from. Not a big fan of the integrated bracelet, but a very solid all-around watch, especially if you can find it on the lower end of the price range I've specified earlier. So in one of my previous videos where I looked at underrated watches from popular brands, I mentioned the Longines Konquest, but that's not eligible for today because it doesn't have the rotating bezel, so we're gonna look at the Hydro Konquest. I think the story with this watch is very similar to that of the Longines Konquest, as in a lot of Longines' offering is appealing to heritage and vintage models. And a lot of these more contemporary design watches are not getting the same amount of love. So these watches were introduced back in Baselworld 2018, and they got a nice little design refresh and feature a ceramic bezel. But these watches come in with a price range of $800 to around $1,600, case size of 41 millimeters and 43 millimeters. Movement is an automatic L619888. That is an ETA-based movement. Water resistance of 300 meters, and then has a sapphire crystal. So I enjoy these new designs. I think they're a little bit more tasteful than models that I've seen of the Hydro Konquest line in the past. That gray dial version looks awesome and really sharp there. And it's nice to see that Longines is starting to put some more effort into their more contemporary designs as well as their heritage designs. So when I was looking at a Tudor Submariner about a year and a half ago, I was really enamored by them just because, of course I love the Submariner design. And then on top of it, I also just enjoyed the fact that you had some more approachable case sizes compared to that of the Tudor Black Bay at that current moment. But then here comes the Tudor Black Bay 58 and completely restructures everything that I did. I don't have any regrets, but definitely would have given this watch a good amount of consideration. And I think you probably know what the next watch is, the Tudor Black Bay 58. So the Tudor Black Bay 58 comes in with a price range of $3,000 to around $3,500. Case size of 39 millimeters, thickness of 11.9 millimeters, powered by an automatic MT5402 movement that is an in-house cost certified movement, water resistance of 200 meters, and then also has a sapphire crystal. And the Tudor Black Bay 58, probably one of the best 2018 releases of a watch, and it still has a lot of hype around it to this day, and I know a lot of people love the piece. So I'll admit it, I don't talk about Breitling enough on the channel. I think part of it is just because, and again, talking about small wrists and back-to-back watches, but I do have small wrists, but I'm trying to get there, guys. I'm working hard. Come on, how bad you want it? I know you want to wear 42 millimeter watches, come on. So with all that considered, we're gonna look at the Breitling Super Ocean Heritage 2. So this watch comes in with a price range of $2,800 to around $4,200. Case sizes, you have a 42 millimeter option and a 44 millimeter option. Thickness here is 13.3 millimeters, powered by a Breitling caliber 17 movement, water resistance of 500 meters, and sports a sapphire crystal. You also have the just standard Breitling Super Ocean 2s, but I am a little bit more of a fan of the Heritage line, as I think it has a little bit cleaner aesthetic, and for our video here today, I thought it was probably a more appropriate pick. And now to round out our list, we have IWC with their Aqua Timer. And the model we're gonna be looking at is a special edition paying tribute to Jacques Cousteau. So price range here, we're looking at $4,500 to $5,500, case size of 42 millimeters. Thickness here, definitely a little bit on the larger end, but I think the overall structure and shaping of the case allows it to work here. 14.2 millimeters though. Movement is an IWC 30120 caliber, water resistance of 300 meters, and has a sapphire crystal. So the IWC Aqua Timer was first introduced back in 1957. The reference, the 812AD. It was water resistant up to 200 meters and then set the tone for many iconic diver watches going forward from the brand. And I'm a big fan of the blue dial version. And again, I think IWC, again, you probably don't consider them when it comes to diver watches, but this is certainly an iconic diver. So guys, if you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Thanks to all 5% of you that do that every video. And then also subscribe, hit the bell icon, great way to help out the channel. And then in addition, I recently partnered up with Bob's Watches, one of the largest online retailers for watches in the world. And if you use the link in the description, any purchase also supports the channel. If you guys want to take your watch to the next level, make sure you're investing in solid watch straps. I have some amazing ones available on my website. So guys, thank you again so much for watching. Be well, and I will see you all very soon.